X-Men, welcome to Die. I am Un, Master of Magnet, and welcome back to I Played a Thing, Princess Crown Edition. As I so often do, I must apologize for my terrible update schedule. As usual, life has been getting in the way in various ways, large and small, and I admit I've also been lollygagging because I kind of hate this scenario. Yes, we are down to the final side story of Princess Crown, contained here in the Pink Book, and it's really quite annoying. However, in order to properly complete the game and see the true ending, we're gonna have to power through it, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. For those of you who don't have previous experience with the game, you may have guessed what's coming up through process of elimination, but we'll confirm it now. The Pink Book contains Proserpina's tale. Here she is talking with her magic instructor, and apparently Proserpina's duty as a fledgling witch is to go out into the world and harass the people with various magical mischiefs. So Proserpina's gonna go out and, as part of her lessons, kidnap some kids and use them for magical experiments, just like we saw in Gradriel's scenario. God, there's a lot of talk here. And before we go out into the world, we will need a familiar, just as every other character gets. In Proserpina's case, it is this gray goblin named Gabriel. Lots of lovely alliteration there. Come along, Gabe. There's naughtiness to be done. Now, the first thing we need to do is go to Goblin Market. And along the way, we will see one of two reasons that I kind of hate playing as Proserpina. Here we are. I kind of hate playing Proserpina because she is terrible in combat. She can't jump, instead she can fly and drop spacey twinkles upon the enemy, but being in the air drains her power. Now that's not so bad, it can be kind of useful at times. Here's her crouching attack, which is a broom charge. Now Proserpina does not have a standard combo. Instead, using the attack button just causes her to do this sort of uncoordinated windmilling. And her super, as you can see, comes out very slowly. She also does not do very much damage. There is one advantage to the super, which is that it inflicts a status effect on an enemy that you manage to hit with it, which usually means turning them into ice or stone, or sometimes gold. Gold is probably the best you could hope for because Proserpina always needs money. The biggest reason she tends to need money is that she has to buy her bags. And because this is a very inventory-oriented side story, she's going to need all the carrying capacity she can get. Now here in Goblin Market, the very first goblin we meet is the bag seller, and he will give us our first extra bag for 300 gold, which, luckily, is exactly what we start with. And in the future, we can buy further inventory expansions from him for 600 gold and 900 gold, I believe. And right here we have the Goblin Market innkeeper. And we can't even afford a rest right now. Yeah, every other side story we've had, well, actually every scenario, including grad reels, we've rarely had much use for all the money we accumulate, but Proserpina is the only character that really needs it. As we go to exit Goblin Market, Proserpina decides that if she's going to be a proper evildoer, she's going to need a secret hideout. So she has a little conversation with Gabriel, in which he points her toward an abandoned house in the woods. And here it is. So we head on in, check the place out, and decide that it will indeed meet with our needs. Alright, on to Nutsville. It's kidnapping time. I do rather like Proserpina's dashing animation where she just rides around on her broom. It just kind of looks cool. The downside to that is she will actually glide over coins. So, if you want to pick up money that monsters have dropped, then you're going to have to just walk over them rather than dashing. Oh, Proserpina, did you just lick the apple juice off your palm? That's really kind of grody. Bonk. Yeah, one of the big problems with Proserpina's super is that, like with every character, you activate the super by holding down the attack button after doing an attack. So under normal circumstances, you can really only do it after one of her spastic flails. And, yeah, half the time that gives the monster enough time to recover while her windmilling dies down. They can just block or get out of the way or counter it. So yeah, one of many reasons her super is really kind of impractical. And it doesn't even hurt all that much when it does hit. Although, the status effect is a nice bonus. I wonder how Gabriel feels about all this. Or is there no honor and camaraderie among goblins? I really have no idea. Now that bag of whatever that I just rearranged in my inventory, that's one of the potion ingredients that I never bothered with before. It is specifically insect powder. There's actually a use for it in Proserpina's scenario, which is why I'm bothering to pick it up and take it along with me. Excuse me a moment while I save game. And I poked my head into the shop, but I also edited that out because there wasn't anything interesting in there. So here we go into the bakery, where the bakery owner tells us that her kids are playing outside. Kids playing outside, eh? There they are, the lovable little scamps. And Proserpina, being the creepy little child abductor that she is, tells them that if they come along and follow the nice lady, that she'll show them how to fly so they can play with the fairies. And of course they take her completely at her word. Kids are stupid. Plop. And so we drag them back to the hideout, where they are transformed into a duck and frog. Again, just as we saw in Gradriel's scenario. And Gabriel, for some reason, decides at this point that we need to go get some goblin juice. I have no idea why. If anyone can read the Japanese, feel free to explain this. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to roll on back to Goblin Market, to the Goblin Juice Merchant, who wants 26 gold. And he seems a little pissed off, to judge by the exclamation points. And that's because we didn't actually have that much. Well, you know what that means, go gold more. And so I did. And so here we are back again. Actually able to pay the 26 gold. And Goblin Juice is in hand. Very nice. Now, back to the hideout. Proserpina, it's not nice to menace your familiar. Well, then again, Proserpina is a witch in training. I suppose she's not supposed to be nice. Now, who the hell is this? Yes, we are seeing the point in Gradriel's scenario where she had her boss battle with Proserpina. Only now we're seeing it from the opposite perspective. And that means we are going to have to fight the boss battle between Gradriel and Proserpina, but we're going to have to do it as the far less physically capable character. Good times. Yes, here is what I think might actually be the only major boss battle in Proserpina's game, and it's actually quite difficult. Gradriel has quite a few moves, many involving inventory objects like the axe she just threw at us. And also, when the spirit moves her, as long as we're in range for it, she can just combo the mortal shit out of you. Yeah, there are times where if Gradriel lands a solid hit, she will just keep on swinging and hit you again and again and again, and to the best of my knowledge, there is no way to break out of it. Also, you do incredibly piddling damage to her, and she can control her jump to a degree that we are not able to when we play as Gradriel. Also, because she counters and blocks quite well, it is really, really hard to hit her with a super. I don't think I ever actually succeeded doing it. Oh, and in order to actually land Proserpina's super, you have to hit during the startup animation of it. If you manage to summon the light column and an opponent jumps into it, it will not take effect. So, yeah, another unnecessary nerf to an already fairly crappy move. Oh well. Yeah, this is really not going too well. Oh! Huge combo, finishes us off. The dagger right in the eyeball just adds insult to injury. And thus Proserpina fell down from the book world. Well, second verse, same as the first. Once again, we'll want to start off with that defense potion. Ugh! Although I have to admit, that is pretty classy, comboing her usual sword flurry into a knife throw. We've got a few bombs, which can put in a decent hurting if we could actually catch Gradriel in the explosion. But because she is a mobile young lass, that is not an easy thing to do. Hooray for another dose of defense potion. Because certainly it is a very helpful thing to... Oh, I actually did land a super on Gradriel. And she turned into money. That is one nice thing about Proserpina's uncoordinated flailing. It is pretty good for knocking money out of people. And as you just saw, her flight ability is actually kind of useful for dodging magic or anything that's more challenging for other characters to time their jump over. Poink! Ah, Mirror Scroll. This is one of Gradriel's drops that is most useful for the fight itself, because with a mirror image of Proserpina, we can actually do some passable damage with our crappy little attacks. Oh, an Yggdrasil fruit? That's just mean. Fortunately, it does not appear to full heal Gradriel the way it does when you're playing as her. I'm not sure what the hell I was trying to do there. And once again, Proserpina is laid to rest with a ridiculously long sword flurry. Well, third time's a charm, right? Not when it comes to throwing bombs, apparently. Yeah, the Spacey Twinkle Shower is pretty good for hitting Gradriel, but you're pretty vulnerable when you're flying around, and it really doesn't do worthwhile damage to her. So yeah, there's just really no easy way to tackle this fight, so far as I know of. There may be some hole in Gradriel's AI or something like that, but I haven't found it. Oh, air defense. Very nice. That dagger actually does pretty respectable damage to her by the standards of this fight. Good job, me. Yay, toast! Well, thank you for not comboing me to death, Gradriel, and for handing me a weapon to use against you. Which I'm not picking up. I don't know why. I thought I could interrupt her ice gem there, but it was not to be. I like the way the transformed kids just sort of sit there staring through the whole fight, not moving an inch except to occasionally quack or what have you. What is Proserpina pulling from under her dress when she blocks an attack? Is that a wok? I'm not sure, but I hope it's a giant wok. That's kind of amusing. Ah. And the princess is awkwardly windmilled to death. Death. I can say words. And Proserpina prepares the coup de grace. Yep, held the bomb a little too long there, Proserpina. And thus, our temporary protagonist is intimidated into transforming the children back into their usual selves. But Proserpina is even more pissed off than usual, and vows revenge against Gradriel. And to find out how to get our revenge, we're going to have to head back to our mentor. Whoosh. So we're back over at the left side of the map, at our instructor's house. And she tells us that we can make a potion that will transform us into an adult. And as a grown-up, we will have increased magical power that will enable us to transform Gradriel into some sort of harmless beastie. Because as we are now, as a youngster, the only thing that we can transform is helpless children. And Gradriel is far from helpless. Which brings us to the other reason I hate Proserpina's scenario. Most of it is a big scavenger hunt style fetch quest in order to retrieve all the ingredients of the grow-up potion. We're going to need, according to the witch, 8 insect powder, 5 rounded leaf herbs, 8 goblin juice, 5 milk, 1 power plant seed, 5 mana essence, 3 uncooked dragon meat, and 1 of each kind of magic gem. And each of those needs to be in perfect condition, which in the case of the gems means fully charged. And in the case of the food type items, like the goblin juice, means it has to be whole. We can't have eaten or drank any of it. So at any time you can go back to the witch and put the stuff in your inventory, and she will take whatever you have in your active inventory and tell you what you have left to collect. So since I just gave her 2 insect powder, we now just need 6 of those. 5 herbs with rounded leaves, 8 goblin juice, 5 milk, 1 power plant seed, 5 mana essence, 3 uncooked dragon meat, 1 of each kind of magic gem, and a partridge in a pear tree. We also now have access to the full map, or at least as much of it as we'll ever see in Proserpina's scenario. We're just going to cube wipe over to me making another pit stop to drop off another insect powder I found, and some goblin juice. And I kept recording for a little while after this, but didn't really accomplish anything, so we'll call it a day. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'm going to have a little announcement to make very shortly. I will probably be uploading a video containing that announcement either later this evening or tomorrow. In the meantime, I hope you're doing well and continue to do so, and I will see you again soon.